Right, let's bring the meeting to order. Take committee attendance. Dave Shampoo here.
Mary Lonnie.
Ben Shampoo.
Judy Deutsch.
You're on mute.
Unless you're not muted on our end, but we're not hearing you.
Can you hear me now?
Yes. All right.
Okay. Sorry about that. Emily Molden. Hi.
Okay, thank you. All right, everybody had a look at the agenda. It's a short one. And we'll hopefully have some additions for discussion. We have a move on approving the agenda.
So moved.
All in
Second.
Aye.
favor?
Aye.
Charlie, there's somebody, the phone number. Is that Whit?
No?
Yes, hello.
Oh, I would. All right.
How's
Identify.
everybody doing?
Okay. Let it show that that Whit is in attendance as well. All right, any minutes to approve, Charlie? Okay, all right, no problem. We'll get to them eventually. All right, no announcements, no public comment and discussion. Dale is not here, so we'll move on to old business. 43 Union Street. Just bringing everybody up to speed that the thing before the ZBA has been, when is that?
April 10th.
April 10th at 1 o'clock.
So
Where are we on the agenda with?
I'm not sure it's too far
Too
away.
far
It's
away.
like what I have for it.
Oh, but they got through the agenda that day.
Well, it got held,
You got help.
Yeah.
Okay.
and so I submitted the letter, the drip line.
Okay,
thing
good.
To
Good.
Billy, so it will all be in the package for
Good.
April 10th.
All right. Anybody got any comments on 43 Union Street as going forward as far as how we want to approach this whole thing?
I would just say I think they normally address old business first, so I imagine it will be towards the front of the agenda again.
Right. Well, I'm hopeful that we're going to get a good finding here, but who knows?
So the one issue that wasn't addressed in the meeting that I attended, and I still have a question about, is the submission to the ZBA showed a driveway on the plan. It was not in the application, it was not on the HTC approval, but when you have a plan that shows a driveway, I would just be really concerned that somehow that got approved without discussion, because the driveway is the exact opposite of what we're asking for, with no disturbance. So that's the only thing to clarify is there a driveway approved by anybody anywhere for that property?
We know what their intent is there, I
Yeah.
think. I mean, taking away that side step and.
There would be multiple chances to block a driveway. In order to put a driveway there, they'd have to take a parking spot. I believe, even though the
Right,
parking on the
car
opposite side, in
parking.
order to make the turns, they'll have to go to traffic safety. They just denied and upheld again at select board last week, 126 Main Street driveway, because it was a 1-for-1 exchange. So if there's no net gain to the town parking, they view you park on the street in front of your house. There's no reason to take that apart, just to move your car inside. Also with the size of the driveway at 126.
So he did that parking area without approval?
Correct.
Wow.
They did the inside, because I believe HDC, I think, approved the plan,
Yeah, right.
but Traffic Safety Committee did not approve the curb cut.
That's what I'm worried about, is that, it doesn't get addressed at the beginning and it slides through somehow. Either we're not aware of it, or, whichever the next committee isn't aware of our previous objections, because they're not seeing that, So I want to keep an eye out on that one.
Well, certainly we got to bring up that issue.
Yeah.
At the ZBA.
Yeah, have they been through HTC?
Yes,
For-
they've gotten
for
approval
approval?
for HTC.
I can, I'll see if I can get a hold of what the approval plans were for HDC. And then if
Yeah.
there's no driveway there, maybe I can ask.
There's no driveway on their application, but again, you know, if you have a plan and your application is approved, that sort of tacitly suggests the plan is approved, even without discussion of that element. At least to me.
It's possible that ZBA and HDC are looking at different plans, you know?
Well, the ZBA, so in that meeting in February that I attended, it was one of the ZBA members that noticed the driveway and said, you know, well, hey, there's a driveway on here. And so, yeah, it's an outstanding question in my mind.
Yeah, I'll email Holly and see if she knows what was approved.
All right, that's good. I'm glad you saw that, and that's definitely a concern. All right, any other comments on 43?
Nope.
All right, let's move on to the other agenda that I have here is the airport tree planting we've talked about in committee. I thought that probably it would be good maybe to send the airport commission draft a letter here today to the airport commission to alert them to the fact that we like to fill in, you know, all where trees have died or otherwise been removed in the parking area that were planted back in the 80s. And I think we got to find out how many trees we have. I'm thinking there's probably about 20. And it would go a long ways towards revegetating that parking lot. So,
We have 20 trees on island, or we have?
yeah, there
plenty of
is. I mean,
20
it's from the Krishulik development
Yeah.
there. And,
You're right.
and they're
Yeah,
sitting
what you want to
there.
do with those two, that's a good use for those.
That's what I'm thinking we use for that. I think that would be the best purpose, I think, for those trees.
Was he supposed to plant those as part of the agreement?
Well, probably. He was supposed to plant them on his property, but he got permission from the planning board apparently to find other homes for the trees that he had to purchase for that subdivision.
Right.
Because, I mean, technically, he should be planting the trees too.
Okay.
But
I think Meg Trudell sent me some information on that. I'll dive back to my email and see if he was required to install them.
that would be. But in the meantime, maybe the airport commission, we could get their blessing on number one on planting the trees there. And also maybe if Krishulik's not gonna plant them, then maybe see if they want to contribute to the
Installation costs.
the installation. Any comments or something to add to that?
No, that's fine. Maybe just stake the location so they know what they're looking at.
All right, so we got first we'll send them a letter and say that we will stake the locations.
Yep.
And then we also have to find out how many trees and what the trees are.
Yep.
And then who's going to plant them?
Who's gonna plant them.
There's a nice variety of trees out there right now, looking at the map that the students did for us. And so one question I have, how are the trees that are there? Are they healthy or?
They are, and that was the other, you know, I think Dale has taken over the maintenance, but I don't think he's got anything underway for a pruning program out there and possibly fertilization going too. Which that can all be done in-house, but he has taken over, as far as I know, the tree maintenance there, because the airport certainly hasn't done anything significant other than cutting things away from where it's rubbing against cars or whatever. So also I'd like to see you know, a tree maintenance program. So,
Yeah, it's a gateway spot.
oh, it is, yeah. And that goes in, this, again, speaking of gateway, it goes hand in hand with the project downtown, which has gone nowhere. So, any other comments?
I will follow up on your comment with a new item, and that is the Coastal Resilience Advisory Committee did a information session this week on the plans for the Easy Street corridor and Broad Street for protecting from sea level rise and storm surge. And so anything that we're thinking about for planting trees in that area, we probably want at least get the proposals. Because there's different things that are being elevated, different things where a wall is going in, potentially. So that's something that we should
Yeah,
be
and
aware of.
I would
Yeah.
I think that would certainly be along that whole, where they park the trucks.
Yeah.
And I mean, that would be the focus of.
Yeah.
I know when Rob McNeil was here, they were talking about planters.
Well, look, these are very early stage concepts, and looking at them, there might be places where we're gonna lose existing trees because of the way the construction's
Yep.
going. And there might be opportunities for new trees, as part of their stormwater management or whatever might be going there.
Some of them show, I believe in most of the drawings, all the trees along Truck Alley were coming out.
Yep.
Essentially, Truck Alley would be the new grade of Easy Street. All the way over, believe it or not.
Wow.
Yeah, so I don't know if there's, some room for, probably years down the line, but negotiating about if somebody's taking trees out, the other putting trees in, and that sort of thing.
Well, that's too bad, because I mean, some of the trees are doing quite well, but some of them aren't, so. They've gotta go, they've gotta go. I mean, I think what were we talking about? We're talking quite a bit down the line.
Years
I
away,
think.
yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking
Yeah.
a lot of money
All right, so
to
that's-
be approved for it.
There's no sense in really proceeding with anything there until that's.
Right, I wouldn't be planting a
Yeah.
tree tomorrow there.
All right, so we'll concentrate on getting this airport thing going. Charlie, I'll get, well, you can find out from Dale.
Yeah.
He can visit the thing, and then I can state, we'll get the amount, have Dale get the amount and the quantities, the individual quantities of each. And then I can go out there with stakes and stake them out, and then we can. But let's send them a letter, not necessarily with specifics, but let's sort of break the ice on that and get them thinking that, we want to see those spots revegetated.
Yeah, I mean, it's something that, we're looking to revegetate the empty spots
Right.
in the parking lot. If with permission, we'll go out and stake the locations.
Yeah.
And then send a list of number of trees and
Yeah,
types,
right.
and see what we're proposing, and then progress from there.
Yeah.
So it's kind of easy intro letter.
Yeah.
No problem.
Okay, good. I noticed Dale's been making some great progress with tree pruning this winter. I mean, one of interest is the maples by the African Meeting House. That the issue with Marcia Fader was that they didn't belong to the town, but it looks like Dale went ahead and pruned them, which was great. We finally.
Yeah, they did a job up there, and they had a good day for it, but they worked hard and did a nice job. And that one old one, they didn't have a lot to work with, but they did the best they could, and they worked really hard, and it looks much better. It's a lot safer.
Yep, no, it looks a vast improvement. So I think that's all good. I think those recover nicely. I'm still keeping an eye on the catalpa that got ravished by Juliet's project there too. We'll see what summer brings with that. And I guess, the town subbed out some work to,
Sam,
Sam.
Yep.
And that, I think we're in good shape now. I mean, I think we were in good shape before, but I think we're in better shape. For sure. Anything else? Anything?
I got one piece of new business. Vince Murphy is going to be putting forward for the tree grant once again. So he's asked us if we will renew the letter of support from the tree committee for this year. So if everyone's in agreement, I'll update the letter, circulate it, and then Dave sign it, we can send it on.
Yeah.
So hopefully this year we get a green light from them on funding.
Mary, you had was there that tree? You were saying there was some trees that were involved, or that tree was involved at 43 that wasn't on the tree list that.
So not that it isn't on the tree list, but the students didn't capture it in the map that they did.
Okay.
So I don't know if we are trying to update the map continuously with more data, but if we are, it wouldn't hurt to put 43 Union Street or all.
I don't believe it was on their list to tag.
Yeah. So
But it has been tagged, and they are.
Yeah, I don't think it's
Dale,
an issue.
Dale and the guys they're in the process of still collecting the data, and then at some point, they got to sit down and go through the user manual on how to update everything.
Yeah.
Now, once they do it a few times, it'll be simple enough.
Yeah.
I hope.
Yeah, I just haven't had a chance to go through and read the manual, and that's just data entry. Same thing with cleaning up some of the misspellings and language that are in there. They kind of went back and look. I think what it is, you get guys who aren't tree people, so they don't necessarily know that a Princeton elm and a Princeton elm are the same thing. One is just spelled wrong, so they just went with what was written as the best they could, because they just don't know the truth. So they got these could be two different things.
Yep.
This looks like the spellings, and this is how we'll enter it.
Now, Dead Horse Valley Mill Hill Park, is that town or is that land bank?
That's land bank now.
Okay. So
It was part of it
I
was swap for.
I was looking at those Augustine Ascending Elms. If you come up West York, you're looking at those elms that are by the bus parking area, that the pull off there across from the. And there's a bunch of elms, right? And they're called Augustine Ascending Elms there's one planted right at the corner of Orange Street and Union, the next corner by Cumberland Farms. That's an Augustine Ascending Elm also. Blue plant into a bunch of them. And for some reason, those all got planted. The 3 or 4 of them are there. Anyway, I'm sure those aren't in the town.
Yeah, they're all that's been conveyed to the land bank.
Right.
The only thing that the town still owns, and that area down in there would be the historic colored cemetery.
Yeah.
Hey, what do we think the sort of timeline is for the map to go live, to be able to access it?
It's up now on the tree committee. It's
Is it
linked on
okay?
the tree committee page.
Okay, all right. And is the HDC aware of that? I think we should give a heads up to the building department, the HDC, for people that may not know that, there's an easy place to look and not have to sort of go to the tree advisory committee webpage. Somehow have a link, perhaps with an HDC application or something, sort of check this, here's the map.
Yeah, I should say
I was under the impression that's kind of a well-known fact. Emily,
Yeah, I wouldn't, I think we just need to get the word out a little bit more.
state the Google map is up on the tree advisory page. I got to follow up to see if it's been imported into the GIS.
Right, as the layer in there, right?
Layer
It's a shade tree layer, but it's
simpler on the GIS. It's kind of separated into two maps. The GIS is really meant for if you're a builder, all you probably really care about is whether or not it's a town tree. You don't care if it's an elm or oak or a pine. And so that's a much simplified, to be more accurate, just that, hey, this is a town tree here. And then the Google map is the one that has all the information on it. So if you say, hey, I'd really love to know what this tree is, that I haven't actually looked on the GIS, to be honest with you. I emailed around the time they wrapped up with Nathan Porter, the GIS manager, and he was looking into seeing like updating.
The GIS has a layer called street trees, not technically town trees. There are more trees on the GIS than there were tagged by students. But for instance, there's not a lot showing on Union Street on the GIS.
Yeah, so the way if you zoom in down towards the Children's Beach, and like all the trees in the White Elephant's front lawn were tagged, so he may not have. The GIS is one of those things where it only gets updated like once or twice a year for some reason.
Yeah, because all those White Elephant, are those still there?
A lot of them, I think, were taken out because they're putting houses up that front lawn. It was all the trees. Yeah, it was all the trees in that lawn across from Lola.
Right.
So like, there was a whole dot. It's like that's all right. These are clearly not town trees. They're just trees on a street.
Right.
right.
So I'll have to follow up to see where we're at with that. If it's still showing trees that we know aren't there and ones we know aren't.
But the layer on the town GIS, Mary, that says street tree, there's no layer that's specifically says town trees yet, right?
Yeah, and so for instance, the tree at 43 Union Street is not on the GIS.
Okay.
Even though if you look at the picture of 43 Union Street, you can see a tree there.
All right, yeah.
But it's also not on the street, so.
Right. All right. so
I think street tree is just a generic label that the GIS has in it. I don't know if they can tailor that to say town-owned tree. It might, but we need to make sure we get our new data laid in on the street tree.
I would probably start on the network.
Well,
layer.
looking at it, it looks highly likely that most of what the students identified is already on the GIS. Because the GIS has a lot more trees on it than what the students did.
How long are you on here for?
Got a lot of trees in town.
I'll
We have
look at
to do
it.
one by one.
Great job, yeah.
I think it definitely would be worth seeing if they can adjust the title to be town trees rather than street trees for clarification. And I would be happy, Charlie, to talk to you about maybe the Land and Water Council can do a piece in one of our newsletters towards summer that also just sort of emphasizes and kind of advertises the maps, the Google Maps that are linked on the Tree Advisory Committee's website as well, just to get the word out a little bit more about the fact that they're there.
Yeah, that'd be great.
Excellent.
Yeah, that'd be great. Okay, well, I guess unless there's anything else.
It was never a big project.
I think we're good. So we'll see you all next month. We have a motion for adjournment. Second?
Yeah.
All in favor?
Just a quick,
All right.
It sounds like Whit might have a question.
Whit has a question.
just kind of jump in here. Who has jurisdiction over the hospital parking lot trees?
That's a hospital. It's all on.
Yeah, yeah, those new installations really suffered with that drought last summer. And I don't know if there's anything, make a suggestion or whatever.
I would have thought that those were all irrigated for something,
It looked like crap.
Yeah.
You've got the Gulch Mountains.
Everything is irrigated in there. I think it was more of a
Well, I mean, I know it was irrigated. I think when it went in, whether or not they're continuing to use it.
true enough.
seen water on the sidewalk, so they.
Yeah, I know the water, I know like the grass areas
Yeah.
on the perimeter, but I don't know if they're,
I would imagine that, I can't imagine they wouldn't have irrigated
Yeah.
the trees when they had a chance.
sometimes people get shocked when when you run a drip line, you figure it's a gallon per hour per foot of hose. So
Heads up.
maybe they got a little sticker shock, I'm not sure.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so we'll stand adjourned. All right.
Okay.
See you next
Thanks,
time.
everybody. See ya.
Thanks,
Bye-bye.
everyone.
Take care. Have a good one.
Do what?